good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, Happy New Year. Venkat, I think we get in a little bit of echo, but I can see you are. Hopefully, this will not be continuing. So, Happy New Year, everyone. We are here again in January, which is the most busiest month for you all out there. So hopefully we can help you maybe to consider other possibilities about how you can maybe make this busy time easier for you. Just starting with few stats. As of yesterday, 6th of January 2025, there was still about 5.4 million of tax returns to be filed by the end of this month as per HMRC. So it's still a significant amount of tax returns that have to be filed. Interesting, on the first, almost 25,000 of tax returns have been filed on the first day of the new year. So definitely many accountants around the country didn't celebrate heavy in the new year, and they have been doing the work and filing tax returns. This is just showing how sheer volume of work those professionals we have to get through. Usually you do not have any holidays or breaks at this time, unfortunately. But this brings me to introducing my guest and what we're going to talk about today. And it's all about how can you achieve more without having to employ more people? How can you get help and support if you are feeling overwhelmed? This was me a few years ago back as well. So I can really relate to that. How can you get help and support without too much hassle and too much time of spending on recruitment and so on? So with me today I have Venkat, and Venkat is our senior director of our outsourcing services in Chennai. And Venkat, would you mind introducing yourself and tell us about the team?
Thank you, Eva. Good afternoon, everyone. It has been pleasure working with the UK accountants for the last 7 years. I come with about 22 years of outsourcing experience with the UK and in the UK and US markets. Academically, I'm a chartered accountant from the ICI India, and it's pleasure to be on this particular session to discuss about how we can help our customers or prospective customers on how to navigate through the busiest time in their professional calendar. And like Eva mentioned, the statistics speak for the volume of work that is there in hand, and we can definitely discuss on how we can support as an organization.
Thanks, Venkat. So do you know how long, well, I'm sure you know, how long have been Iris providing actually outsourcing services to accountants and bookkeepers?
Eva, we have been supporting the UK accountants with our outsourcing services for the past 20 years. And journey, we started off with the year-end accounts, and then slowly progressed to bookkeeping, and then expanded to other service lines.
Thank you. So as you hear, we are not the new kid on the block here. There are years and years of experience that are there with our team there in Chennai. Now, I know we kind of talking about tax returns and tax season, but before we dive into that, Venkat, what other services do we offer to accountants, bookkeepers around the country? What are the different types of work?
Yeah, as I mentioned, Eva, we started off with accounts production. We have rich experience in preparing year-end accounts, and post the success that we have seen in year-end accounts, we started delivering services on bookkeeping and payroll, XBRL, personal tax, audit, and confirmation statements. And for few clients, we do management accounts as well. So now we have suite outsourcing services that we provide to the UK accountancy market.
Thank you. So it's kind of, I understand those service lines. So it's majority of the service lines that accountancy firms would offer or deliver for their clients, really. So you kind of just working with what is the demand there. Which service is the most popular if we park tax busy season? Which service is the most busiest in the year, Venkat?
From an accountant standpoint, Eva, the cycle time of year-end accounts is very, very high. It takes more time to complete year-end accounts for any entity, and that is something which is more voluminous for us around the clock throughout the year. That's where we started off, and we have been successful. We have, if you ask me, our biggest teams, it's year-end accounts team, which is has the biggest a set of bookkeepers working on.
Okay, so you mentioned teams. So does it mean every service line has a specific team that delivers that service line? So you have year-end, bookkeeping, tax specialists. So does this mean that the different teams have different types of experience and potentially qualification? They can do the job?
Absolutely, Eva. We have about 850 people working across two
Wow.
offices in Chennai.
Mhm.
Post-COVID, we've seen a significant increase in volume coming our way, and we expanded our operations at very short notice. And we now have two offices in Chennai, and we have people working across India with the work from home and hybrid mode of operations. But predominantly, we work from office, and that's what we have seen success. And we have dedicated teams for each service line. For year-end, we have a separate team. We have tax specialists for the personal tax support round the clock, around the year. And at the same time, we have separate bookkeeping team. We have a huge payroll team. So we have dedicated teams for each and every service line.
Specialist team, yeah, because kind of, yeah, you can do all of the things, but you don't become expert if you do everything. So
Everything. So
yeah.
absolutely. And also, from an experience standpoint, considering that we have started off 23 years back, we do have some resources who are continuing with us right from day one. And on an average, we have an experience of 4.5 years in year-end and bookkeeping teams, because we are continuing the legacy, and the people are happy working for Iris. And that's where we have the advantage of having experienced staff, and also employees who have expertise in Iris products. And over the years, we have started supporting on non-Iris products as well.
That kind of leads me to next question. So obviously we are Iris team, outsourcing
Team
team.
outsourcing
Is it
team.
our clients have to have Iris software, or can we do these services in different software than is Iris?
Yeah, we started off with Iris as such by supporting our customers on Iris software, but over the last few years, we have picked up knowledge and expertise on non-Iris products like CCH, Tax Calc, and now we are supporting on My Work Papers. So we are now supporting almost all leading Iris and non-Iris products.
Okay, so with this software, it doesn't mean you have to have a Iris software, because I think that's one of the questions that people seem to be asking often. Now, what sizes of the farms? Because sometimes it's a perception you have to be specific size, you have to be big farm to get outsourcing in. What sizes of our firms our customers are? Is it are they only big firms, or do you have like smaller customers, smaller firms?
We have customers with one or two partners. We have customers with more than a single digit partners across UK. We have multiple offices type of clients. It ranges, Eva, and we have customers across all sizes and spread across UK. It's not specifically to one particular region in UK.
Okay, because yeah, I think sometimes the perception is you have to be a big firm, but as I has alluded before, I did use Iris outsourcing services before as a sole practitioner. So it doesn't really matter if you are big or small. You can really benefit from this. Venkat, what way? So it seems very complicated still. Okay, so I want to use outsourcing. So how does the process look like? What way? How can you? Are you getting access to my software? How am I sharing the information with you? What is the process? How do you know what to do? Because everybody likes to do things maybe a little bit differently. So how do you ensure you do things the way I want them to do as your customers? How do I share the information with you? Also, is it all secure? Am I sharing it in secure way, or am I just emailing everything? How does this work?
Yeah, people think that it is quite complicated, Eva, but actually it is the simplest mode or a platform to share information, because we have industry leading standards with respect to the compliance, whether you call it as GDPR or with respect to information security. We have robust mechanisms and applications and certifications in place to support our customers and give them the assurance on the services that we provide. And we are quite confident about it. And we recently got certified for ISMS, QMS, and PIMS. PIMS stands for Personal Information Management System. This is an ISO standard. We are certified for that. Not many in the industry have this certification, and we're very proud that we have such a certification which aligns with the GDPR guidelines, and it is certified by a renowned external certifying body. From a data access standpoint, Eva, we have two options: in-source or outsource. When I say in-source, we can access the accountant's servers through the remote desktop processing mode, and then we can access the servers, access the files, and start the processing. The other option is outsourcing, where the customer can access our web-based application, which is quite secure, and upload the files there. It will trigger a notification to us saying that the customer has uploaded files for a so-and-so job, and then the team members will pick it up. We have a single point of contact that we call it as a customer relationship team. They will be in touch with the customer. They act as an intermediary between the customer and the production team. So the customer need not interact with one person from operations, one person from management side, one person from customer relationship. They don't need to interact with multiple people. One person would be assigned to a customer who would interact with the customer, and on anything specific to pending information, or if there is any planning that is required, work scheduling, all those things are dealt with one person. So we have multiple options where customers can spend the least amount of time and gain the advantage of outsourcing.
Okay, so let's talk more into detail into like real life example here. So for example, today is Tuesday, right? So I reach out to Iris and I said, I will say I need help. I need help with my tax returns. So they presumably put me in touch with you and your team, right? Walk me through what's going to happen and how quickly are you actually able to help me to start doing the work, because the time is of the essence.
Yeah, I understand. I know that when it comes to the busy season, accountants will be quite held up with the workload. So what we would do in such a case is we get on a call with the customer. We call it as a scoping call to understand the exact requirements of the customer. What is that they have in their hands? What is that they would like to outsource? What is the timeline that they are looking at? And then we'll explain to them as to how it works. We'll explain to them how many hours on a minimum it will take for us to complete a job, because we have flexible models where we charge customer on an hourly basis, we charge customers on an FTE model. We're quite flexible. Customer can choose to opt for a pilot before getting into a full-time contract. So we have flexible options where it will give confidence to the client. And in the scoping call, we explain all this to the customer. And then once we understand the requirements, once we understand what is the bookkeeping software they're using, what is the year-end software that they're using, that will give us more clarity to us and also to the customer on the planning part. Because without planning, execution would definitely fail, and the scoping call would be a good starting point to determine what the requirement is. And then post that, we'll suggest client on the ways they could use our services, and post that they can get into a pilot contract, or they can get into a full-time contract on an annual basis. We will be ready to support the customer based on their needs. So we are pretty agile.
Okay, I'm going to keep asking you the question until I get the right answer from you, Venkat. So I speak to you today. When can you start to do the work for me?
Okay, if you are approaching me during the first half of the month, we are ready to support immediately. If you are approaching me during the second half of the month, we prefer to start the next month, because almost all our clients give their work schedules at start of the month. That helps us to plan the work, give them insight on what are the jobs that are queued up, when they can expect the jobs back from us. So that will set the stage for the particular month. So it depends on when you are approaching us.
But considering this is tax return and I really need help before the end of January, you can start working on my tax returns later this week?
Absolutely, we can pick up the last job till 26th of January, and we leave the last week exclusively to pick up any pending information type of jobs which are parked as incomplete, or where we have sent queries to the customer and we are awaiting reply. Those type of jobs will be picked in the last week as such. Otherwise, till 26th of January, we can pick up the jobs.
Okay, so important date here is 26th of January. That's the cutoff point. So any accountants, bookkeepers out there, you still can make a difference to your crazy January. As Venkat just confirmed, we can still help you with your tax returns, right? That's a point to note really here. Do you have to do the accounts in order to be able to do tax returns, or can you just do purely tax returns for me?
As mentioned, we have dedicated teams for each service line. Personal tax could be a separate service. You don't need to tie it up with year-end and all. As I mentioned, yes, we are flexible. You can try out with the personal tax, exclusive personal tax contract.
Okay, thank you. Now, going back to the year end, because as you said, that's the most popular service or most in demand, and it kind of goes throughout all the year. And this is why busy season is really busy season, because we don't have just tax returns to do. We have still other work has to be done in the background there. So when we are talking about the year end, what is usually the turnaround time for the year end if I need you to do this set of accounts for me?
Yeah, good question, Eva. As you know, year-end accounts takes significant time from start to finish of a particular job. If we have all the information upfront provided to us, we can turn it out in 10 business days. However, if the information is provided to us in different tranches, then the time when we receive the last set of data would be considered as a start date, and then we promise to complete it in 10 business days from there on.
Okay, big thing on the year-end accounts for us accountants are working papers, and we all love them done in the specific style that we know and we recognize and we are confident that things are correct. So how does this work? Can you adopt our working papers, or do we have to like use just your working papers format? How does this work?
So in the scoping call, Eva, we understand the requirements with respect to working papers, and then we prepare working papers in such a way that it meets your requirement. And I can confidently say that with the 23 years of experience that we have gained on year-end accounts, we have developed tools and applications in-house which will help us to generate working papers very, very comprehensively. And those are significantly appreciated by our existing clients because they help them to reduce the review time and pass on those comprehensive working papers to the end customers, and then which are again appreciated. So it is a fantastic tool that we have in house which will help us to deliver the working papers and notes to financial statements, schedules. Those are brilliantly done using this particular in-house application, and those are thoroughly reviewed by an experienced reviewer because our objective is to reduce the review time for the accountant.
Yeah, that was my next question, really. So how does this work, regardless if it's tax return or if it's year-end or bookkeeping? Presumably, assume somebody like the doer, the professional does the work. Are they reviewing after themselves, or what is the process? Because obviously, when the work gets to me, I want to make sure somebody probably more senior reviewed it, or do I have to take that on me and I'm kind of the first point that is reviewing the work? How does this work? How does this review process work?
Yeah, so it works like this, Eva. We follow a two-step approach: a maker and a checker. There would be a bookkeeper who completes the work, whether it is year-end accounts or bookkeeping, payroll, or personal tax. And then that particular work is reviewed by an experienced reviewer. And that particular experienced reviewer's work is a final gateway with um, the promising average outgoing quality that we can assure you. And that would be the final gateway which will go to the accountant for a final review. And I'm confident that that particular review for the accountants would be very, very limited, just to ensure that it meets their branding, and at the same time it meets their overall guidelines. So we take care of everything and then ensure that it goes through the two-step approach with respect to maker and checker.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. Now, rarely it happens then, or you can tell me if I'm wrong, but from my experience, rarely it happens that you receive a job and you have everything and you understand everything. You know where to allocate all the payments. So often when you do the job, you end up with a list of queries, right? How does this process work? Is it like query by query, you picking up the phone or messaging, emailing client, or have you got any process? Because this part can be quite time consuming if it's not done properly, but it's kind of not really adding value. We're just missing some information. So how does this query process work?
That's a good question, Eva. I know that as an accountant, you have this on top of your mind. It is quite simple. As I mentioned, we have web-based application where we receive and deliver work, which triggers notifications to us or to the accountants and saying that this is the pending information which we are looking for on this particular job, and we'll mention the priority of it, the urgency of it. And if we do not get any response from the accountant, what we do is we will ask the customer relationship manager assigned for this particular customer to pick up the phone and then speak to the customer and ask the customer to rush information, because at the end of the day we need to meet the deadline. So we have various methods. We don't pick up the phone and talk to the customer and then disturb the customer every now and then. Predominantly done through the web-based application, and where it is too critical, yeah, we do not hesitate to call the customer over phone.
Now, are you able, again, with those queries, because sometimes you have to go to customers, are you able to maintain confidentiality? What I mean by that, if I don't want my client to know that I'm outsourcing to you specifically, are you going straight to my client, or do you always communicate just with me? How does this work?
On 100% of the cases, we work directly with the accountant. We do not interact or correspond with the end customer of the accountant. And whatever work that we complete, we call it as a draft accounts or draft returns, which requires a minimal review by the accountant to meet up with their branding guidelines or their processing guidelines. And it is accountant who has to communicate and correspond with their customers. So that is definitely going to be only between Iris and the accountant.
Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if I want you to communicate directly with my client, is your team able to do that?
Absolutely, we can do that, but it all depends on what are the directives that the accountant would be giving to us, because they need to be precise. And as you know, each client or each end customer would be having a different expectation. And if we are provided with the clear directives, we can definitely do that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You mentioned something earlier about a full-time FTE model or hourly model or tax return model. My question is, can I have the luxury of having specific team member dedicated to me, or is it always whoever picks up the job? You know, what I'm kind of trying to say, I want to build relationship maybe with somebody in your team. They will know my way of working. I don't want somebody else picking up the work next time and then having to go through that. Is there a possibility that I can kind of hire a person and have a relationship with them?
Yeah, we can definitely provide that. For few customers, we provide that, where we provide a dedicated person allocated to the accountant. The accountant interacts with the particular member as if they have their own team member at a remote location, and it's like acting like an extended team for them. So we do have customers who use a few members, and they are dedicated only for that particular customer. We do not align them to any other work. However, if you are sending us jobs and are getting into a contract on an hourly basis, we get into an hourly contract, say for example 25 hours per month over 12 months. So in that case, we will be assigning your account to a particular pod which has a set of resources dedicated for that particular pod. So your work would be completed by set of bookkeepers within that pod. It will not go to tens of pods that we have. It will go to that particular pod, and it would be done by specific individuals who are going to be there and then performing the production and QC.
Okay, thank you. Um, Gosh, it's already almost running out of the time. I think we should have allocated more time, because I could keep asking you questions for another hour, Venkat. Audit, you know, as we come out of the busy season, February, March, April is quite busy on audit. And I know we have introduced this service not a long while ago. Can you tell us a little bit, how does this work? Because audit it's a little bit of specific work. So how does the audit outsourcing work?
With respect to audit outsourcing, Eva, we are providing it on an FTE model, and we are already supporting few customers by assigning individuals who have UK audit experience both on the corporate and on charity entities. And we have expertise in HAT and Mercia methodologies, experience in almost all leading audit software. And we assign individuals, and then they work closely with the audit manager, right from planning to the execution through audit file preparation and also the working paper. So they are quite equipped, and from planning to audit report framework, they're quite experienced, and they would be assigned as a dedicated audit member, because in audit there's a lots of back and forth, and that's critical that we have a dedicated person assigned to audit.
Thank you. So communication is the key, I would say, in the audit. So just to recap few things, and Venkat, feel free to add anything if I miss out. So the key date, 26th of January, if you guys need help with the tax returns, you have until 26th of January to get set up with us. Don't leave it. If you are seriously considering, or if you know, oh my goodness, I have still hundreds and hundreds of tax returns to do, just reach out to us today. You can reach out to Venkat or myself, or we have our in-house outsourcing specialist, Chris Jones, and he's fabulous. He can really help you and your business as well. So reach out to any of us and we'll be more than happy to help you. Turnaround time for tax returns, did we mention that, Venkat? I know we mentioned for year-end. What is turnaround tax, just traditional turnaround time for tax returns?
It is 4 business days, Eva.
Okay, 4
and
business.
Charge on a return basis.
Okay, perfect. So 4 business days. So you still have time, but as I said, if you want, it's going to be on a first come first serve basis. Another service line includes year-end, bookkeeping, payroll, management accounts, and audit outsourcing, as we mentioned. And we can accommodate whether you want dedicated team member or we have a pool of professionals to help you there. But there is one person that is dedicated to you and you will communicate with them. We are maintaining confidentiality, so we always speaking to you, not to your customer as well. And I think, that's kind of just so you can remember. If you want, if it's something alien to you, you don't understand the concept, if you would like to know more, please do reach out to any of us. We'll be more than happy to help. Venkat, is there anything else you would add?
We are good otherwise, Eva. You covered all the aspects. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. So thank you, Venkat, for joining me today for our fireside chat. Thank you to our lovely audience as well. Hopefully you found it useful. Remember, there is still a time to make a difference to your crazy January. So act now, reach out. I wish you as stress-free as possible month. We'll be back on the 21st of January, which will be our last session. We will have accountant talking to us at that time, sharing their experience. In the meantime, if you need anything, please do reach out to us, and happy January, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.